Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
Ahmedabad, what I've realized and what has been told to me is that it's a very balanced interview. So they would want to cover the basic HR questions and then maybe something from WorkX, something from your grad, and then current affairs as well. And there could be questions around the VAT or the AWT that you've written. Got a call from all the IIMs excluding Kozhikode and Indore based on my 10th and 12th scores. But I appeared for interviews for A, B, C, L. Out of those, I have converted A, B. Ahmedabad, what I've realized and what has been told to me is that it's a very balanced interview. So they would want to cover the basic HR questions and then maybe something from WorkX, something from your grad, and then current affairs as well. And there could be questions around the VAT or the AWT that you've written. And it was a similar experience for me as well. So they started with why did you join Citigroup after IIT Bombay? Then it went on to why MBA. Then there were questions from my WorkX, my learnings. Then it went on to hobbies as well, wherein I got a chance to do my rap, and it ended with a question on my AWT. So that was my IIM Ahmedabad interview. For IIM Bangalore, what I have understood is that they would want to focus a lot more on work experience for those who have it. So, for example, I had almost about 4.5, 5 years of work experience as I sat in that interview. However, to my surprise or to my dismay, the interview was totally different from my expectations. So, of course, it started with tell us about you, but then it went to another trajectory, and we were discussing about monetary policy, and then there were questions as to what would happen if there's a common currency for the world. Now these are the questions that I did not have any answers for, and I had not prepared for these. So throughout the interview for IIM Bangalore, the questions were like these, only hypothetical in nature, and I did not have any ready answers for these. And throughout the interview, I was constantly on my toes, and that's why of all the interviews that I appeared for, it was the best interview experience for me. So particularly in Bangalore, what I felt was they would ask me questions, I would have my answers. Now, since these were hypothetical questions, I did not have any specific or correct or ready answers. So I gave whatever I could think of, and then I would pose my questions that this is my understanding. Based on this understanding, I have given this answer. What are your thoughts? And it was a conversation, and it was a great experience overall. Also, it was my first interview of the season. It really gave me the confidence that I can do well in the upcoming interviews as well. Why I also believe that it was a very good interview is because I am one of the few selected this year who have already been awarded a merit scholarship of rupees 6 lakhs for their performance in the interviews. So that's IIM Bangalore for me. IIM Calcutta again focuses a lot more on math questions, and that was the case for me as well. So the interview started with tell us about you, where again I got a chance to do the rap. And then there were questions from civil engineering, which I did not really remember, so it did not get off to a great start. And then there were questions on WorkX, which I was fairly comfortable in answering. And then there was a couple of math questions. The last question of Calcutta interview was very interesting for me. So the professors told me that what's the distance between a straight line distance between Indore and Calcutta, and when you fly like a bird over that line, which states would you cross? So we were having a very in-depth conversation about my WorkX, and then these probability questions that I was asked. And then suddenly this question came up, and with this note, it ended. So it was also a very good experience. Lucknow was a very short interview for me. Started with tell me about yourself, then a couple of questions on civil engineering, a couple of questions on why MBA, a couple of questions on banking in general, which were not really related to my work experience. For BCL and other schools, it's more about writing about a particular topic. So for me, for Bangalore, it was about discussing the pros and cons of direct transfer versus the public distribution system. For Calcutta, we did not have a VAT, and for Lucknow, it was about is death penalty justified. So when it comes to writing a VAT, what you can do is there are some topics which are going on, which are in news, and you can try and develop an opinion around that, read around that, and try and summarize that in under 200, 250 words. So there's a word limit, and there's a specific space in which you have to write all your thoughts. What I did personally was a similar thing. I reached out to my mentors. They would give me a topic, or maybe some days a couple of topics each day. I would write them, write the VAT, scan it, send the copies back to them, and have their feedback collected. In case you don't have this, just try and write every day. Once you get into that habit of writing, you will be able to write a good one in the final interview when it matters. With respect to that, the only thing which happens with students is that they don't know what to write about. So for that, anything, like anyways, you will be reading a lot about current affairs for your interview preparations, and this will help you in your VAT as well. For IIM Ahmedabad, it's a little different. So it's AWT, analytical writing test. It's based on the format for GMAT. And for Ahmedabad, what I did was that there is a booklet available on GMAT websites where there are about 100, 150 AWTs. So I downloaded that, where you have the question, you would write an answer to it, and then there are a couple of answers which are already posted on the website, so you can just try and compare where you've missed. I guess it helps a lot in terms of giving the interviewers talking points, and since you have been working in that particular role, you are also comfortable talking about it. So for me, at least particularly, I was not comfortable talking about my civil engineering, though I'd read on it, but of course I did not have the same level of in-depth knowledge now because I'd already passed out for 5 years. But for my work because I was working on it on a day-to-day basis, it was easy for me to tackle those questions. And you can also apply your practical knowledge. And in work also, it's more about what you have learned rather than what work you're exactly doing, because it might happen that the panel is not aware about the exact work that you do, but more often than not, they fairly have a very broad idea of the work that you would be doing in a particular profile. So questions are based around that, but eventually once you're able to answer those technical questions, they would move on to more like what have been your learnings, and what is your view on this particular topic, and so on and so forth. So they might go broad. There have been situations where they go very technical. That depends on the panel members also. With respect to extracurriculars, I think it's good to have them, but even if you don't have them, so for example, in a lot of these colleges, you could only mention your national and international level achievements. I did not have any national or international level achievements, but I have done a lot of things in the past. So I developed this ability to clap with one hand. So I talked about that in Ahmedabad interview when I was asked about what do you do. Then I've represented the MP under 14 cricket team. I've also been a member of the cricket teams in my school and college. And so there were a lot of things that I had done. And the only issue with this is that, they could pick up any one of your interests or hobbies, and they could prod you on it. So I have a couple of friends now. So their hobbies, for one of them, it was running and marathon. About 10 minutes of the 20 minutes of his interview were devoted to that. For one of the other ones, it was photography. So they would go in depth around how does a camera function, how does a lens function, about I think the image gets reversed, and all the technicalities that we can think of. So if you let us say are not comfortable in any hobby, and you are just mentioning it for the sake of mentioning it, don't do that, because they could like catch you on a wrong foot, or at least you have enough time to prepare about it. So I did not know a lot of things beforehand, but once I thought that I would be mentioning these in my interviews, I read up about them, and this helped. So in my IIM Bangalore interview, after doing my rap, the first question which was asked to me is like, why there is so much raw energy in a rap. And I'd read about history of raps and its origination, and I was able to take an answer from there. And then there were also questions about the trends in the music industry. So I had also fortunately read up on that. You can never predict what's going to be asked, but if you have a good solid base, you can draw your answers from whatever you've prepared. Out of ABC, I have converted A and B now, and I never thought that a day would come when I would have a choice between IIM A and B. So uh, I have another friend who has also converted all of ABC, and we were discussing, and he also mentioned that beggars cannot be choosers, because that had been the case with us. But it was like a totally different case this year. I reached out to a lot of seniors, alumni, industry leaders, and tried and get their perspective as to what would be a better choice for me. The confusion was with respect to my work experience. So Bangalore has people with higher work experience, and Ahmedabad is more for fresher. So if you have a look at the batch profile, you will find that easily. So that's where the confusion arose from. However, after getting all their suggestions, advices in, I thought that IIM Ahmedabad is a better choice for my profile. A lot of them, almost all of them, mentioned that it's very competitive, and I thought that I wouldn't get a better opportunity than this to test my strength. As I've mentioned, right, my extracurriculars was totally blank. I had no national or international level achievements. So he asked me that, what do you do in your free time? And I brought it up that I have been learning beatboxing and rapping, and I've written a rap for this interview. Now, the other panel member was kind enough to, request me to perform it. I got that opportunity, and I think that sealed the deal for me. I still remember all of their expressions on each of the lines, how they laughed, how they smiled, how they, like it was as if they agree with what I was saying. And I think that was the one question that sealed the deal for me. तेरे भाई ने मचाया है वो आगे भी मचाएगा, सपना है ये उसका ऐसा एक दिन आएगा जब ये पूरा देश उसकी पीठ थपथपाएगा। लाइफ नहीं थी आसान पर हिम्मत नहीं हारी मैंने, दर्द सारे और सारी मुश्किल हेड ऑन झेली है सारी मैंने। लहरों से डर कर नौका पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती। इन लाइंस ने दिया है हमेशा मेरा साथ, मन करता है चूम सकूं मैं बच्चन जी के हाथ। अरे बल्ला भी घुमाया है और ठुमका भी लगाया है, गाने गा के भाई ने माहौल भी जमाया है। मन में थी एक आस, करना है कुछ खास, मेहनत ही लाती रास। तारीफ को मैंने पाली थी, बजा ली तेरे भाई ने जब एक हाथ से ताली थी। चला गया मैं IIT, ज्वाइन कर लिया सिटी, हो गया प्रमोट लेकिन फिर हो गया विस्फोट। पापा छोड़ के चले गए, सीख याद उनकी सारी थी, माँ के साथ मिलके मचाने की बारी थी। ज्वाइन किया एक्सेंचर डिजिटल, किया वहां भी खूब स्ट्रगल, एनालिस्ट से बना कंसल्टेंट, मिला फर्स्ट स्टॉक, मैनेजमेंट जान गया हूं लेकिन अभी बहुत सीखना बाकी है। IIM C मेरा मंदिर, यही तो मेरा काशी है। MBA के कोर्स में मुझे खून का करना पानी है, कुछ बड़ा मचाने की तेरे भाई ने जो अब ये ठानी है।
Hi guys, Inside IIM has come up with an exciting new one-on-one mentorship product where you get to interact with superstar managers from different businesses, different functions. You can ask them everything around your career, your education, your future success. If you are interested, the link is in the description below. Thanks.